Okay, good afternoon my students. Here today we will just take a glimpse on a heavily uttered term nowadays, not only in the field of computer science but in many other subjects. This is the term artificial intelligence. So first of all, we should know what is intelligence. Actually, intelligence is the capacity to learn and solve problems. Here, basically, what are involved in intelligence? It's the ability to solve novel problems. It's the ability to act rationally, and it's the ability to behave just like humans. This means that in a movie, when we just see any animal like a monkey or a dog to behave just like a human being, we just comment that okay, this is quite an intelligent. So behaving like a human is a part of expression of the intelligence. Next one thing is that what are the things which are involved in this intelligence? The first one thing is to interacting with the outside world. Means suppose we are moving on a under terrain and we have seen a notation that turn right and we have followed that instruction. This is the interaction with the outside world. Next one is the reasoning and planning on a timely manner. Suppose I have arrived at a restaurant and I have ordered for rice for having a dinner, but they have reported me that no meals for meals the rices are not available here. So next we have to decide then as an alternative meal what could we take. This is the planning in a timely manner. And the next one is learning and adaptation. When a child takes his birth, thus he is totally unaware about any animals. With the passage of time, he learns the names of the animals, the various colors and many more things. These are actually the learning and adaptation. The next we would now learn what is then artificial intelligence. AI is the study of those things. Presently, in those fields, people are doing better. So, to test whether a system is artificially intelligent or not, the famous test is the Turing test, which was proposed by Alan Turing in 1950s. Turing test, look at the slide. In Turing test, what's there? Just in one side of the wall there sits an human interrogator, and the other side of the world there sits a human being and a AI system. Now at any particular moment, if the human interrogator is not being able to discriminate whether the answer has come from the AI system or from the human being, then that particular system is said to be artificially intelligent. Although tries were made for many years to prove a system as artificially intelligent, but at last in 2014 just the system in Russia passed the Turing test, which was just a simulation of a 13-year-old boy. Next, we would look quite just historical backgrounds of this, the development of this subject, artificial intelligence. First one is the historical attempts. The first one is that in 1818, Mary Shelley wrote her famous story Frankenstein, where just a scientist was in a try of making artificial life. However, just at last he was unsuccessful of making the artificial human being, because due to the electricity problem he gave birth to a demon. That's a separate story. Next, another one historical attempt is Euphonia, where in the decade of 1830-40 just one machine was devised, which was with the help of pumping air balloons and bellows was capable of speaking many European languages. And the thing is that just a German scientist was German scientist expend his 17 years for making that device perfect. But the unfortunate thing was that after spending a lot of time, he just invented that almost a very few people was carrying on this device. The next, we nowadays frequently utter the term robot. Actually, this term robot has come from a famous story written by the chess author Karel Kapek in 1921. Robot means just cheap labor, but nowadays when we utter this term, we just imagine something which is just behaves like human, but in general they are the machine. So where these robots have got their roots? In 15th BC, Aristotelian logics were invented. Next, in 1642, Pascal built the adding machine. Next, in 1694, famous mathematician Leibniz invented the reckoning machine. Next, in 1834, Charles Babbage invented the analytical engine. And the extensive use of this term AI starts from 1950s. In 1950, Turing, whose name I have already mentioned before, first predicted that within just 10 years, almost 70% of the computers would be able to pass the Turing test. And in 1957, Newell and Simon predicted that within 10 years, the computers will be able to beat just any chess grandmaster. Now, the question is that were Newell and Simon correct? In 1957, Newell and Simon predicted that within 10 years, computers will be able to beat the human chess grandmasters, and in 1967, Mac Hack just was able to play a class C level of chess. Means Newell and Simon was correct quite a lot. However, at last in 1997, means just after 40 years of the prediction made by Newell and Simon, Gary Kasparov was beaten by Deep Blue. So, we could summarize the history of AI at this point. So, in 1943, first, the McCloch pits, there was a simulation of the human neurons. Next, in 1950, Turing gave the idea of Turing test to judge whether a machine is artificially intelligent or not. In the year 1955 to 1965, we got a very good improvement over this field of AI, because in this stage the language Lisp were invented. Next, I am skipping the rest of the development up, and finally I am coming to the point 1995 onwards. From this time, we are observing that not only in the area of computer science, but in other areas like space research, medical sciences, home appliances, anywhere, we will seldom find the areas where AI has not put its footprints. So here I am listing some success stories of AI. As I have mentioned, in 1997, Deep Blue beaten Gary Kasparov, the great grandmaster. Next one, in 1999, during the period of Gulf War, the AI-based systems were devised by American government to control more than 50,000 of vehicles and cargoes, and was very much successful in its application area. Next comes the name of Proverb. It has been proven that Proverb can solve crossword puzzles quite well and good than the human beings. Next, I would explain about the DARPA Grand Challenge, where only the robot cars take part in this car racing, and from 2006 onwards, face recognition softwares are available in the market. So now I would like to give a glimpse on the DARPA Grand Challenge. Here it's just the in this car race only the robot cars can take place, and here every car is free from any human intervention, means no drivers or controller by remote controls are not there. They took their own decision. So here the prize cost is $1 million to $2 million. The winner robot car gets this prize. Here it starts from 2004, next 2005, and next 2007. Just here I am giving a glimpse on this DARPA Grand Challenge, and it's this, and the next slide shows the robot car, and next one is a glimpse of the road through which the robot cars taking part in this race have to go through. And it's quite easily understood that the roads are full of various kinds of barriers and obstacles, means it is quite challenging for any human drivers also to drive through that kind of roads. However, it's the success of AI that the robot cars were quite well and good to go through this type of roads also, and finally some car won the race. Next one, I would like to mention the name of the famous Hindi movie by Rajinikanth, that's the Robot. Here we have just seen a robot. According to that film, some scientist named Professor Vashikaran just invented a robot named Chintu, just who was a replica or a mimicry of the famous scientist Vashikaran. Now, we all think that if we also possess that like a robot, then would not it be very much better for us? Because according to that film, the robot invented by Professor Vashikaran was able to recognize people, to obey any command, can memorize anything very much well and good, and quite a lot faster than human being, and even can fall in love also. So the first and foremost question which comes to our mind is that what are the useful components for just getting a robot just as shown in that famous Hindi movie Robot? First one is that just it must possess fast hardware, because that kind of robot could memorize, could read anything far much faster than human being. Next one thing is that they can play chess at a grandmaster level. Next one is that interaction with the outside world, means they can, just like common human being, they can recognize speech, just recognize an image and so on. Even it is capable of learning and can plan and can in a timely manner can take good decisions. So first thing is that, can we make a computer which behaves just like a human brain? Actually, what's there in the human brain? In human brain, there are about 10 to the power 12 number of neurons, and the synapse joining up those neurons are of range 10 to the power 14 or more, and the cycle time is just 10 to the power minus 3. Next, look at the heart of computer. What's there? Just in a computer CPU, there are 10 to the power 8 or more transistors, and supercomputers possess hundreds of CPUs, and the cycle time is much lesser than that of human brain. It's of order 10 to the power minus 9 or even maybe less. So what's the conclusion? The conclusion is that, okay, in near future, we can make hardware that may be a replica of human being brain. But one thing we should put in our mind, that just making a hardware like human brain is far much different of getting the human brain at hardware level. This is really a very much challenging fact. Next one question is that, can a computer play at grandmaster level? So the answer is obviously yes, because we have already mentioned the fact that in year 1997 the machine Deep Blue has beat Gary Kasparov. Next one is that, as I have mentioned, that in the film Robot, we have seen that the robots are there, the robot is able to express various emotions like its gladness, its sadness, even it fall in love. So is it possible? So here I am showing two figures, or rather two images, which shows that the robot Kismet is just showing two emotions. One is when it is being surprised, and another one is when it is being sad. But the different from human being is that here expression of emotions is very much constrained here. Means here we can just define few cases like sadness, gladness, surprise, etc. for expression of emotions. And next one is that, suppose on getting one news, I have got glad, but in one day I have given expression in one manner, in the next day I can express my gladness in some other manner. It's not exactly defined that how shall I express my gladness. But for robot, in gladness how it will behave, in sadness how it will behave, everything is very much constrained one. The next question is, can computer talk? the answer is partially true, yes. But however, when it pronounces, like if I consider the word fictitious, then it will just pronounce in this manner, fictitious. Now, just it follow some lookup table for this like of utterance. The thing is that when it pronounces, the output sound generated by it sounds quite unnaturally, means just anybody can understand that it has come from a machine, not been uttered by any human being. Another one thing is that whenever we are reading a text, only just plain reading is not there. There always works a mixture of some emotions or expressions, like if I read the news that okay, my student has got that prize, obviously a glimpse of gladness should be attached with that. But whenever if I read the news that okay, Rambabu has passed away, so obviously a glimpse of sadness should be attached with there. But this is why, because whenever we are reading, we are just not only reading that, however, our brain understands what am I reading. That's why one expression or emotion always remains attached with that. However, in case of machines, when it reads, it is just reading. No emotions, no understandings are attached with that reading. That's why we could not expect those like of expressions from them while reading. That's why the reading of text sounds quite unnaturally. So in this field, we must have to solve a lot of challenges. Till date, for reading of individual words, the answer is yes, that computer can read, although it sometimes sounds quite machinery or unnaturally. But for reading out of complete sentences, the answer is still now no. Computer can't read a complete sentence. Next one, can computer recognize speech? Again, for limited vocabulary, like in field of telecom industries, for limited vocabularies means name of states, name of zip codes, etc. The AI-based systems performs with high accuracy, almost 99%. But here we must have to go quite a miles ahead. Means we have to solve much more challenges here, because still now computer can't recognize or understand all of the speeches. However, one thing I should mention here, that the telephone companies with the good utilization of AI-based systems are saving millions of dollars per year. The next question is whether the computer can recognize human speech. As I have told that for very small vocabulary, the answer is yes. But for normal speech recognition, it's as too complex, so we have to solve a lot of challenges in this area. Next one thing is that can a computer can learn and adapt? When just after its birth, a human child as grows from its environment or its parents, friends, etc., gradually it's learn and adapt. But For computer, the answer is yes, it can learn and adapt, but the information should be presented in an very much appropriate way. The next one thing is that, can a computer see? The answer is again partially yes, because it can see just like a human being. Because if we look to the figure on the board, it is well understood that all are the different form of handwritten capital A. However, being human being, we could recognize any of them, but it's very much challenging for the computers to recognize all of them as capital A. However, we have got quite a good number of success here also. The computers can recognize face. So, till now, the answer is, again as I have mentioned, partially yes, means only for some specific problem area the computer can see, means as recognize face, but for in a broader sense we have to again go miles ahead. Next one thing is that, can the computer plan and take optimal decisions? Here the answer is no. Till now we have not got any success which tells that a computer can take decision in a timely manner. Means here everything should be programmed. Just it goes through an if else statements. Means if this then do this, if that then do this, this like. If any one is not mentioned, it will not be able to do that. Means suppose just I want to travel from Barakpur to Shialda. Now here the thing is that I may go by train, by hired car or by bus. Now if by chance in the computer I have programmed only for train and bus, not for the hired car, then it will not be able to take the decision that it may also make journey from Barakpur to Shialda by hired cars also. Means here I can just enable it for take any decision only by pre-program it, not by itself. Next one, just in a summarized form, I can tell that, so presently as from my discussion it is clear that there are many things which are doable by any intelligent systems, but we have to go miles ahead more in this area. In our everyday life, nowadays we are getting a lot of helps from these AI systems. In post office, AI systems are help for sorting of mails and recognition of addresses. In case of banks, they are able to classify loan applications and for signature verifications. Next, for customer service, they are able to recognize customers' voice. Next, in the web, automated fraud detection is there. In digital cameras, we almost all aware about the fact of face recognition and automated focusing. Finally, today for mobile or computer gaming, we are getting many intelligent characters there. So just in gist, now it's the time to mention the success stories of this AI. So computers nowadays are beating human grandmasters in chess. Computer and human conversation is a common practice nowadays. Expert systems are controlling spacecrafts. Next, robots can walk on stairs with holding a cup full of water or tea. Language translation for web pages are there, and application of fuzzy logic for home appliances like microwave oven is a common practice, and many more are there. In medical science, we are getting extensive helps from AI-based systems. In Kuwait, a number of nursing homes are there where just the robot nurses are serving medicines to different cabins to the patients in a timely manner. Here, breast cancer diagnosis, in case of breast cancer diagnosis, AI-based systems are playing a very good role. Next, for group division for the people who have coronary heart chance of coronary heart disease, there also the AI-based systems are playing a very good role, and so on. So, AI researches are going on, and each day more surprises are waiting for us in this field of AI research. So with this, thank you very much for being so patient.